It'll be on the YouTube channel.
Ops.
Hey,
What's going on, guys?
What's up, man?
Not much. Waiting for the countdown from Bob here for
Oh,
live
no,
time.
it's going live.
Okay,
I'm
so-
live. I'm live right now.
Okay, great. Well, I'm going to go ahead and unmute my mics.
Okay, it's waiting for you right now.
It's waiting for you?
Yeah, the preview thing for the thing is it says waiting for old Bob.
Okay.
All right, give me just 1 second. Let me put myself on push to talk. That way I'm not like, talking over everybody.
Okay.
Gotcha. All right, and I see, Bob, I see you're live, so I'll go ahead and unmute and give you the wheel.
Okay, God, hold on a second. It's been a long time since I did this shit, so hold on a second.
Kill me, Smalls.
I know, killing you.
All right, how's that?
You sound good.
Okay, it's gonna give a second, so hold on a second. Can you guys hear me like in the normal chat?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, cool. Yeah, it says, okay, good, and I'm going live. Yay!
Okay, so I will unmute in 3, 2.
And welcome back, everybody. This is OLDBOB'10025, and just to let you know, this is a community stream that we're having for everyone in the community to kind of give some positive outlook into the game, to get new players engaged into the game. We have some cool ideas. Everyone's going to bring up about like 1 to 2 different ideas we could come up with, and then also we're wanting for you, the audience, to go ahead and figure out anything that we actually can do as YouTubers, streamers, and even you yourself as a player for MechWarrior Online to actually go ahead and help the community and go and bring other people inside the game, different ideas we can go and do and everything. So this is for everybody, just to let you guys know. We have Opstoner, we have Lars, the casual player, and Commander Lemming, sorry, man. And Commander Lemming, go ahead and... It's been a while since I did this, so... And just wondering, and basically, like, I'm going to go around the table and just say one of the things we're kind of like citing. This is kind of like a loose, organic format, so we're going to do that. We're going to be able to go and do that, and then I'm going to go around the table. And so, Opstoner, we're going to go ask you first. You'll be the first person on the hit list. Is why did you get into Twitch streaming?
I originally got into Twitch streaming simply because I could. I didn't know a lot about Twitch. I didn't know what Twitch was when I first started. It was new to me, and I've seen, a lot of people with great communities when I first joined. So I'm like, this is nice. I want to meet new people, and I want to, I want to be part of something bigger than just what I was.
That's cool. That's actually, to tell you the truth, that's why I hung out with you during the Twitch stuff, and kind of liked your streams and everything, because you were that type of person. Wanted to increase the community and just be a really overall cool guy.
Like for me, I the reason I kept doing it was because of the amount of love and support that I got from the community. No matter what game I played, there was always, people there to help me learn and to push me forward. And I met a lot of really great friends, doing the streaming, and especially the MechWarrior community in general. Like, that community has been phenomenal and fantastic. It is probably the best community I found on Twitch, yet, and that's in over 2 years of streaming. So,
oh, definitely, man, definitely. And okay, so Lars.
Yeah, so I guess I'm kind of like Ops here, where, I just wanted to try it out, essentially. Is that basically I graduated with a degree in TV media arts back in 2008. And of course, back then, the job market was kind of shitty for a person with no experience in the Pittsburgh area for anything video related. So after kind of just like putzing around doing part-time jobs and then finally getting a full-time job, I really missed doing video. So one day I was like, you know what, let's just make something dumb. Like, I think my first video was essentially a shitpost video, really, and it was based around when MechWarrior Online had flubbed on a patch and made the map super tiny, down at the bottom of the screen. And and that was kind of like where I started, is that I just wanted to get back into making videos and make a hobby out of it. And kind of like what Op said is that the community here for MechWarrior Online is actually one of the better communities. You know, I've played other MMOs and other shooter games. You know, I played Guild Wars and such for a while before playing this, and any other game, I would hang out for about a year and then leave. But MechWarrior Online, for some reason, has kept me here for almost a year and a half now.
True, man. That's what kept me actually around, like as well too. It's just the community of players and everything. So let's go to Commander Lemmy, and then I'll go.
Okay. So for those of you who don't know, I come from the Dota 2 community, and if you know the Dota 2 community, you know that the MechWarrior community and the Dota 2 community are night and day. And I've always, like, I did Twitch streaming in the past, and I've always sort of enjoyed making content, but I couldn't find like something like a free-to-play game. I love free-to-plays. I couldn't find a free-to-play that I could really stick with for a long amount of time and sort of build a community off of. And, you know, I got a lot of support from the some of the meme videos I made early on and the drop calling videos. I noticed that there were no drop calling tutorials on YouTube yet at the time that I made my channel, so I just filled that hole.
That's cool, man. That's cool. You know, same thing for me too. Like, I actually got in because, like, I work pretty much like 16-hour days, and I really don't get much creative like outlet pretty much. And so when I started actually Twitch streaming, I met Op Stoner, and I started with like Star Trek Online, and did that for about 3 years, and actually about like 2 to 3 years doing Twitch, and it worked out pretty well. I loved it. Great. You know, it was kind of toxic a little bit, and I was off put with, like, you know, Star Trek Online, but then I went to MechWarrior Online when that came out, and oh my god, I mean, just the community is just one of the best communities I've ever played in any game. And I used to play World of Tanks, and that is just the most toxic crap you can just imagine. But I have to say, everyone in MechWarrior Online is really supportive, and everyone's like really just a great person. And I think mostly because it's a lot of older people that used to play the game on the board game, then it came to online when I had to do that. But you know, I met Lars, Commander Lemmy, Op Stoner, like, through actually doing this, and it was one of the greatest things that I can do. And one of the things why I do like YouTube videos is to help people play games. That's why I do like I don't want to be a mech potato series, and then I also do with unsung heroes to go show the community as a whole the great players that are out there, and that's why I do YouTube and Twitch and everything else. So like, let's we're gonna pick some topics. We're gonna pick some topics, and we're gonna go kind of go like into how we can create a better community that's out there for different people that will help out, and for us as Twitch streamers and YouTubers, what we can do to go and help out the MechWarrior community as far as getting people engaged into the game, and then also to get them involved in doing different things to help out, because the player base is dropping and we need to do something. And that's why I actually started this, kind of got some people together and say, hey, you know, let's figure something out type thing. So I'm going to go with Lars first, and we'll just go around the table, and let's go from there, okay? And Lars, you're up.
All right, cool. So I guess the one thing we're trying to get here is try to get ways to just overall improve the game. Because we know that the community base in the game, they complain about so many little things. So now we know that other Twitch and YouTubers, online, they go ahead and they make their own events. Well, I think that we need to get more of that happening for the overall community. And now last night, myself, Bob, and Lemmy, we discussed about a whole batch of ideas, about 2 hours worth of things. And now sadly, like I didn't have like a main one that I wanted to bring up, but the one I want to talk about actually that I thought was really cool was the rules of engagement. Now, so Bob, the way you described it is that that you would have like a 8 versus 8 or a 12 versus 12 man team.
It'll be like a 10 versus 12.
Yeah, 10 versus 12, and then it is just rules of engagement of old school BattleTech, the tabletop game, which I have fuzzy knowledge of, but I like the idea of this rules of engagement, which is you only do one-on-ones with each other, right? And then at that point, if like that if if one person breaks that rules of engagement and starts begin to fighting more than one person, then all the rules are like tossed off the table, right?
And like those are for the clans, though, right? Basically, like
Yeah.
as far as rules. But like what I was thinking though, because like with MechWarrior Line, once everyone gets like even with the escort mission, it becomes skirmish mode 4 type thing. So we have to have some type of like I guess penalty for that happening, because 99% of the time they'll just go for just the kills and 10 people attack one guy type thing.
Yeah, so it's one of those things where I would love to see that happen. I really doubt PGI is going to do that,
Oh no,
but
no.
but they would never do that. But now that, because they did release that new patch recently, that people do not no longer need premium time to get into a private lobby. So I'm really hoping that people who don't really put forth a lot of money into this game, if you are one of those players, you can now create private lobbies and not have to rely on events from people online or people who do put the money in. So if you're the kind of person who plays casually, and doesn't have a lot of money, well, I think now we can get more, often more like themed events going on from the actual community.
Exactly, that's a good point. Now, basically, as far as that though, like, how would you actually draw the people like into the game itself? Basically, like, would you have like an event that everyone can actually go and do type thing?
Yeah, so it's one of those things where, I guess because, like us, we're on Twitch, we're on YouTube, we can, make commercials for the event. We can do updates for the event, let people know that they're out there. But we can also use like the forums. The forums is a good place. Not everyone goes there, but the forums can be a good resource to let people know that there are events or live streams or charity streams and that kind of thing. So I think if you are a person like on YouTube, like myself, you can easily make an update video. If you're a person who is not a YouTuber, then go to the forums. Or if you have your own base community, it's kind of like one person tells one thing, that person knows two friends, and those two friends knows more and more, in the community. Now, granted, we did say the community is smaller as of late, so word could spread quicker, be that a good or bad thing. Take it for what it is.
True, true. Um, Actually, that'd be kind of cool. We could actually have something like let's see, it'll be 2 stars of like 2 stars of clans versus a full company of like Stream Max, and make it kind of like that. And then whoever stays, okay, here we go. Whoever stays actually in fact, whoever stays in clan character or clan rules engagement the longest would actually get something. We could actually ask PGI for some stuff to give to the players, like little candle on your mech or something like that, just like something small. That way it'll increase the player base, and hopefully people get excited about that.
Yeah, and actually, go more into that about contacting PGI, because I didn't know that people could do that.
Yeah, when I used to do charity streams for like Twitch, I would contact PGI and say, hey, like I want to give something to the players while they're doing it, and they send me a bunch of like 1-day premium codes, and I gave those out as like here's a premium code for everybody, you guys can go and have and everything, and that's what I did, and they're more than happy to go do that. Just got to contact customer support.
There you go. Cool.
So yeah, I like that idea. It's really, really nice. Let's go ahead and okay, that's one of the ideas. Okay, Commander Lemming, let's go with you, man.
So the biggest issue is that I have, at least, is that we can do like internal events like that, but we need to think
outside the box
externally. Yeah, we need to think of what we can do to bring in more people that are outside the community, people who don't know BattleTech or MechWarrior, because a lot of the BattleTech players, they want BattleTech. They don't want MechWarrior Online.
True.
And at this point, if they're a BattleTech fan and they like the idea of MechWarrior Online, they're probably still in it. Or they're being sort of alienated recently by the rapid changes. But the key is that we have to find a way to both keep the veterans in the game as well as bring in new people. And I think the key thing to advertise is the community itself. Like, we have an awesome community. That's the part that brought me in. Like, you know, what brought me out of Dota 2, one of the most toxic communities, was MechWarrior Online. You know, because you look at all the other MOBA games out there. Look at Dota 2, look at League, look at Smite. Even look at games like Hawken, which are also, it's another mech game, but it has kind of a, you know, not too great community. Or Robocraft. Robocraft was another one that I used to stream, actually, and it's a builder game where you build mechs, but the community is terrible. It's awful. So it's, I think if we can go out there and advertise the fact that we have a good community that actually welcomes people in, most of the time, that's the key. This is not a perfect community, but as you can tell by one of my more recent videos, but it's a great one in terms of what you're going to get. And then the other issue I bump into is the in terms of bringing in new people, is the new player experience is terrible.
Oh god, yeah.
And we can't do, like, we're going to try and discuss only what we can do as a community, not what PGI can do, because that's not going to get us anywhere. That's going to get us on a rant. But is in terms of what we can do for in terms of bringing in new people, is like, it might be good to just make like a starter kit or something and send that to PGI. Just like short, sweet, to the point, like some kind of, I don't know how to say it, like a small set of videos that's just like, here's how you build the mech, here's how you pilot it, and here's some of the advanced techniques that you might be looking at in the future, but it doesn't go too in depth into them.
Okay.
Can I say something, please?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Touching on this topic here, here's one of my issues with that. Like, it took me probably a good 2 years of playing MechWarrior on and off to learn how to play the game, and there is a distinct learning curve in that game as compared to others. One of my biggest turnoffs personally is I hate to watch a video on a game that I want to learn. It's very boring, it's dry, and it really doesn't teach me anything. And I find that I have to go back and reference that video time after time. Where if PGI would find a way to incorporate, building your mech as part of the tutorial and explaining how the weapon systems work and how the engines work and heat sinks and everything, I think that would go farther to inviting newer players, both young and old, than a YouTube video would. Because there's already YouTube videos that are out there on, how to do everything in the game.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the thing. I wish that it would be like that. People have been talking about it forever. That's the way I want it to be too. That's what I was talking about, like as short as possible.
Yeah,
because no one likes to do that. No one likes to go to a third party
and figure out how to play the game
2 seconds into a new game. Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It's not nice. It would be nice if somehow, if they didn't really feel like coding a tutorial, and they could at least like link it or make it come up in like the pop-up window or something right before you build your mech.
Something as easy as just a small like pop-up window in the mech lab. It would be just a quick and easy fix to explain to someone who's new what the hell to do.
See, the problem is though, like, when you come into that, when PGI makes that kind of stuff, they're doing really good on advertising the videos. Like the K9, that was just absolutely amazing. I mean, that was just the best thing I've ever seen as far as them over the years doing something. But the game changes so much, and I don't think they actually have the manpower to actually go ahead and flip the tutorials. Like, new skills tree system came out, and this is like astronomically hard if you don't really kind of jump into it and just kind of figure out like what it is.
Yeah, and the skill tree, like, that is a really good example of communication gone completely wrong. Where they went ahead and they had the first public test server. We all tested it out. They gave us a whole bunch of numbers. And the thing is, like, I say numbers just because I'm not too well versed in math. I can't do math worth a shit. So all of a sudden, you just see like one day people log in and they see this giant roster of like money they've been given back or not given back, and people like I had people talk to me and say, "Hey, I haven't been keeping track of the updates. I just logged in for the first time after this patch. Didn't know what the skill tree was, and they've been given all this." Quote, free money to do whatever with no explanation in the actual game.
True, like kind of like Iskram comes back from the ship and he's like, "What the hell is this?"
Yeah, he didn't know what the hell was going on.
So basically, how can we as a community actually go ahead and do that? Kind of like say, hey, PGI, like would we actually have like a forums, post on forums, let's try this or something like that? Like how we actually would actually try to engage PGI to do that kind of stuff. See, Mr. Tango says some beginner resources can be added to the initial announcement like window, which would be kind of nice.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of I mean, this is getting off track because we should probably focus. This might be actually out of our hands, but yeah, PGI, in terms of what they could do, would just be one of those simple, like what I've seen a lot of free-to-plays do. I've played a bunch of free-to-plays. What they like to do is they just like to have a little frame-by-frame thing that has like a little arrow that points to a thing. It's like, these are the weapons, and then you can click next, back, and then you can always repeat that tutorial if you need it again. But I don't really know exactly what we can do to push PGI to make something like that.
Yeah, that's kind of hard, actually. Very, very hard.
The problem is it seems like PGI doesn't want to make the simple fixes to bring people in. They're, to me now, and I love the game, don't get me wrong, but to me it seems like PGI lately has been out for money. And I say this because if you look at the forums, you can look all the way back to when it went, open beta. You can see that people's been pushing for a colorblind mode. You guys know that I've been pushing for a colorblind mode for over a year now. And still, there's been no response from PGI, except for it's not a high priority on our list right now, but we'll look into it.
Yeah, true. Basically, I know, ever since I talked to you, I mean, years ago, you've been trying to get like a colorblind mode because you have trouble playing the game on I think Bog, right?
Bog and Forest are the worst.
Yeah, I know. That's an issue that basically I think that I mean, that's hard. Basically, it's hard to kind of get like a juggernaut like PGI saying, "Hey, do this," because there's so many cool ideas that PGI can do. But it's like in the long run, it's actually just up to PGI if they want to put their manpower into comp play or faction warfare or new mech packs and that kind of stuff. So it's really hard for us to say something.
That's the epitome of the death spiral they're putting themselves in. What they're doing is they're losing community members. So they have to tax their current ones more.
Yeah.
And they tax the current ones more. It scares them away. And it stops new players from coming in because they see the high tax levels and they go, oh shit. Like when I first got this game, I looked at, I said this, I think it was last night, but yeah, I got into the game. I came from Steam and I've played about 20 free-to-plays in the past, give or take. And I went in, I opened the game, and I saw 4 mech bays. And it's just, when I saw 4 mech bays, I was like, this is bait. This is bait, is what that is. And it's ridiculous. That's one of the big things that I've been pushing for about a year now, is that they need to at least give a new player 10 mech bays, otherwise they're not going to have enough time invested to want to continue playing the game ever. Because it doesn't take super long to fill out 4 mech bays, and once you're at that point, it's like that's the crossing point as to when do you want to continue and spend money, or do you want to just leave?
Well, the good thing that
go ahead. Yeah, because I really wish they would incorporate a way to purchase a mech bay without actual money.
Well, actually, they do with the events, and they're pretty generous with the giving mech bays and money and all that kind of stuff, like with the grab bags and stuff like that. They're pretty generous on giving players that kind of stuff, but you have to play, like they have a week or week long thing that they have, or a month long. I'm sorry, month long thing they have now, where every 2 days or something there's some big event going on. That, I mean, hell, when the PPC thing came out, I mean, all I saw was PPCs for the first hour, and that's it. It was hilarious, actually.
And the part that's a little bit goofy is that they have all of these challenges on an external website that an initial player is going to ignore because most people just close the news tab and get on with the game.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, that's what happened to me with, during the first event back when I was still new to the game. I didn't know there was events, and one day I was getting free shit, and I was like, awesome, free stuff. And then I found out from someone in my old unit saying, oh yeah, there's actually a challenge going on. I'm like, oh really? Where's it at? And I'm like, oh, go to the site. Like, why is it not in the game?
But what about the casual player? What about that guy that works, guy or girl that works 40+ hours a week and has a family and can only get on, maybe a few hours a week? What about that person? Because the events are great for people like us that are willing to put time or have the time to put into a game.
Oh, definitely.
But
sorry, go ahead, man.
I was going to just say, but it's difficult when you don't have that amount of time to put into an event. I've missed a lot of events because family and work and life. I mean,
which is also
classes and
yeah. Which is also why I think PGI did change their events a little bit, because a few months back they were only on the weekends, and granted, that was back when I used to work weekends, so I really wouldn't be able to do the events. But then recently, they've been doing week-long events, or now they're doing the month-long events. So for a casual player, I mean, granted my title is Casual MechWarrior. I probably spend too much time now playing the game than I should be. But it's one of those things where I think they did realize that there was that complaint. But now, of course, they stagger events within the event. So for like the ones happening now, I missed completely was I think it was like, use a medium mech and you got like a free, sea bills, or do scouting missions and you get a free warhorn. I did miss that one.
Yeah. Well, I can't do faction warfare like anymore unless it's like, we're going to give you a supreme mech or something like that. I cry every time I play it, pretty much. But
when it came to finals and everything, I just had to completely skip an entire event. And the thing is that, this is another thing I said last night, is that this game is really, really problematic because it's an all or nothing game. It's either the only game you play or you don't play it. And if you have limited time frames and you get on and you just have a shit night on MechWarrior, it's like, do you really want to get on again and spend all that time that you work to get?
Oh god, yeah.
And then you get these people that are just that angry because they've had multiple nights like that, and then they go and harass other players, and the chain just continues.
Mm-hmm.
I know for myself, I work about, well, actually, I quit my second job, thank God, and now I work about 12 to 14 hours a day, and then I come online, and like, I'm sitting there going, like, I jump on my alt account on Triscan, and I start playing, it's like, dude, it's like, oh my god, I only got like, 90,000, that's like maybe 2 skill points, and not enough, and then like, I have to go through all these different mechs that I have, and then bring up the skill points to the total, of like 91, but like either I pick the skill points or I pick to go upgrade the mech itself so I can do better. So which one do I want to do, type thing. And it's hard for the new players to get involved, and that's why, like we're talking, is to have some type of database or something to for all the new players. Yes, YouTubers have their stuff, and I don't think we actually couldn't convince PGI to do something and say, hey, do some tutorials, at least, just simple stuff, teach new players different things, because this is a high learning curve game, especially situational like awareness. It's you need it to go play this game. and like especially with drop calling, you need to know what's going on around you and everything else. But okay, so we have basically we need something for the new players to get involved, which would be something like a database. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, like some sort of database, or just, granted, wishful thinking, some sort of in-game tutorial that is better than what we have currently.
True.
And then some sort of upfront advertisement about the quality of the community in terms of other games, because I feel like that'll bring out a lot more free-to-play players from Steam if they find out that this isn't actually like, Sukabliet, whatever.
Actually, that jumps into my other point that I was gonna make, and like how me, you, and Larsh, and I think BrioS actually did it too. We actually made up like during the Roughneck, we made up advertisements of like motivational like videos and Twitter pics and everything else. That we could actually do something like that for the FedCom Civil War, bring new people in, hopefully, and to basically like during those videos or Twitter things, we have a cool community or something like that.
Yeah, and then also the battles on top of it, what do you say it? The things that I usually have been starting up recently, but the rivalries, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
The rivalries between players just adds a whole new layer to it, because then you're actually like, you're hunting for someone, and like Snuggles and I always go straight for each other. And then I started this new thing with War Prince recently, and that gets people involved in the game because that gives them something new to look forward to.
And that's engagement as well too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Actually, the rivalry thing you were talking last night, and I love the idea. Like I know, like me and Larsh had like kind of video like rivalry type thing, and it was great, man. I felt really good making those videos. I feel really good doing the pics and everything. I just love doing it, and we should do that something for the FedCom Civil War for the player base, and then also just kind of like we could we could hash something out. Like we have this like we have the Discord channel here. We just hash something out of what we think we should go and do, a type thing for the FedCom Civil War coming out. Like with the new tech. And Opstoner, like, what do you think, man?
I think that would be great for bringing in new players. But what do we do for people like myself that stop playing because of the severe unbalance and the changes they're making in the game? How do we bring back the old players? And how do we make the game fun again for those old players?
That's a good point, actually. Well, one of the things we can do is do our own lore events. I'm writing up the rough draft of doing a planetary assault, and basically that'll bring the hardcore players back in that actually left because of skill tree and left because of the imbalance, because it's all stock mode, and basically be like something like the Battle of Luthien or Galataria campaign or the War of 3039, and bring that in with a lore event for planetary assaults. So everything's balanced, quote, per se, and then I'll run kind of like a planetary assault where you drop in with 108 mechs. That's all you have against, say, like like 2 regiments on the opposite team, and then whatever you kill and everything, you get like they have less mechs to go defend certain positions, and that'll actually get other people engaged into the game that left if we do that kind of stuff to make it exciting again for something else, because like it gets boring doing the same thing. Because I could tell you in the first 3 minutes if we're going to win the game or not. I could tell you in the first minute where everyone's going to be going, exactly their points of like entry, like say Frozen City. Frozen City is the same exact thing. I could tell exactly where they're going to be going, because we're going to NASCAR around that. We're going to like NASCAR around like certain maps. This is exactly where they've been going. This is every single game's like that. If we change it up, do something different, it'll be better for the player base and get some more excitement for it.
Yeah, well Frozen City will just be you and the team just facing off across each other for 5 minutes and then finally moving.
True.
The events would be great, but my problem is this. Okay, so I might reinstall the game and I might play an event. But is it really worth me taking the time to reinstall the game and playing a stock event when I've got 90-something mechs in my mech bay that I can't play because they're all nerfed?
That's a good point.
I don't see that issue personally with the balance right now. Like what mech, like what 90 mechs are completely like nerfed so far that you can't play them anymore.
All right, so we'll start with lights. Let's start with my ERPPC. My ERPPC Spider. I can't remember the exact variant at the moment. I'd have to actually log in to look at it.
Oh yeah, the 5D
Spider.
I run that all the time. Still, it works.
That not for me. It doesn't. I can't get a good build. That mech has been nerfed into the ground for my playstyle, and I used to do pretty well with it. I actually have a clip of me doing, killing 5 mechs on Frozen City or not Frozen City, the other Frozen map.
Polar Highlands?
Yeah, Polar Highlands. And I was the last mech left. I got 5 kills, and I got a tie.
Okay.
I mean, that's gone. The Locust is squishy as hell. It's even worse than it was.
I have a hard time killing those things, man.
See, I just did a massive video where I just crushed people in the Locust recently.
And the Locust rescale. Well, the rescale now is ridiculous because now it's so tiny.
Well, that's the way it was supposed to be. I mean, according to lore, the Locust was always a tiny mech.
Well,
it had very little armor, but it had structure, and it had survivability.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's not. I mean, I get hit at a full run with a LBX-10, and that's it. My mech is done. I'm losing, half my mech right there, legs, legs and arm, and the next shot just cores me. So,
see, the only mechs I've seen the issue with are the mechs that get like explosively popular, and then PGI just bam knocks them down, like the Black Knight. The Black Knight feels like that to me, personally. At least when I'm up against them, I crush them now with there's no chance for them. And then, the Marauder felt like that for a little bit, but I feel like it's starting to be on the upswing again with Skill Tree.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
the Kodiak 3 was a huge hit.
Yeah, then they nerfed that like crazy.
Yeah, all the other Kodiaks suffered because of the Kodiak 3.
Let's be honest, that Kodiak 3 was OP as hell when they first released it.
Yeah, it was a mess, but I don't like how they touched the other ones too.
Tech, but I was debating on whether or not I really wanted to buy a Kodiak 3 just because of the way that it played.
Well, I know, when I used mine, it was just like, holy cow, man! I was just destroying people with that thing, and it was. I knew that was definitely going to get the nerf bat. Once people start complaining about it, and that's the thing that PGI does, is the laser system. I mean, they made a huge deal about it, but it was just a couple tweaks on the damage, on the cooldown, and then the heat, and that's all it was. It wasn't like a major thing like energy draw, where there was this is going to be the greatest thing since sliced bread, but it didn't turn out as well because everyone bitch and complain about it.
Yeah.
But I don't know, that's just something that basically that it just, I mean, that's up to PGI to go ahead and decide on that kind of stuff. So we don't really know what's going to happen next. We don't really know what the next mechs will be, type thing, and and how the format's going to be.
The thing is that no matter what move PGI makes in terms of balance or in terms of future development, they're gonna scare some people away from the game. It's natural.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You can't avoid that as a developer. You can't avoid pissing off some 5% of the game when you release a new update.
Well, that's what happened with the skill tree. Is that they put out the skill tree, and
well, that was more than 5%.
Yeah, there was more than 5%. There was a lot of people, but the thing is, though, the first skill tree got delayed to the point where people thought it died.
Yeah,
but the thing is that it wouldn't be such an issue to piss off that 5% of people if new players were trickling in.
Yeah. See, that's just it, though. When I forgot where I got the numbers from, but the numbers before the skill tree were 35,000, and then it dropped to 23,000. That's a huge drop. As soon as the skill tree came about, and then the salt on the forums was just astronomical. I mean, I just couldn't believe how much stuff was going on. And if you said that you liked the skill tree, you were like you're drawn and quartered and like with your head chopped off pretty much. They'll just jump all over you, and I think that if I think if we as YouTubers and Twitch streamers, if we could explain. I know it sucks, basically, like I know that basically that we're just, like basically it takes a little bit more effort. I know myself, I'm willing to do it, like I don't know about like anyone else, but like I don't speak for you guys or anything else, but I know for me, like I love teaching people how to do things. I might be wrong, hell, I'm wrong most of the time, to tell you the truth, but but it's just I love actually helping people and to achieve the game of what they want to do, because I know like I watched thousands of videos about how to do things like MechWarrior Online, and for me to look at that, it's like, well, that's cool. Now I know how to do this kind of thing, and this is pretty cool. I watched, kind of Josh's like videos about the skill tree. I watched Molten Metals about the skill tree. It's like, okay, so now I know how to do this. What's the best route to go take through the nodes and everything else to get what you want to achieve? And after a while, you get to kind of like know stuff, and I think it scares people or like especially new players when they come into the game. And if we can actually explain or have some videos basically saying, hey, don't worry about it, it's okay, it's not the worst thing in the world, it's actually improved the game. I mean, I was about 60%, like loved it, and 40% like I hate the thing. And once I started working with it and kind of screwing around with it, it's like, oh, this is pretty cool. I can do this and this. I can make this type of build. This works better for this. And and you guys taught me a lot. You guys taught me a ton of stuff.
Sorry. But kind of to go back to what Ops was saying earlier, actually, is that videos are awesome and they can be great. But I guess from just a viewer standpoint, whenever I see a tutorial video or just any video that is like, let's say 30 minutes about one aspect of the game, I mean, realistically, I watch maybe 5 minutes of that video before my mind goes nuts.
Yeah, true.
Now I don't. Now I don't know if it's just because people don't know or don't really care editing techniques. I mean, I don't know, but if people have seen my videos, like I'm all about editing and keeping the pace and keeping things moving. I cannot stand a video of gameplay because I sit there and in my head, my mind's telling me, I'm watching a video about a game that I could be playing right now. Like it's like I'm watching this, but I could be doing the same thing right now. And so if people are gonna do videos, I mean, I know like not everyone can do it, but dear God, I would love to see a person use a fucking cut at least more than like once every 5 minutes.
Hey, that's me.
Yeah, that's why I like you, because you fucking use cuts and you do shit and you use text on a screen. That's why, like, people who are watching, if you don't know Commander Lemon's channel, I fucking love his shit. Go watch his shit.
You.
Like honestly, I mean, you do not have enough people watching your stuff daily, like, because you make some awesome actual tutorials and fucking schmut that I personally enjoy.
Oh,
that's the quality check I actually do for YouTube videos. Like you're talking about that, like you can't sit still.
Yeah.
If I can't rewatch my own video without skipping, it doesn't go up.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
If you can sit down and rewatch your own video and go, hey, I like the editing I did there. Hey, I like the joke I did there. And your attention span is still there, and it's not, your brain isn't turning to mush. Then it's a good video.
I mean, now call it today's ADD generation or whatever, but like, dear God, like I need movement.
But like, I'm like you too. It's like I cannot watch gameplay videos unless it's really informative. Like telling me something about exactly how to use tactics and what different places to go to and everything. For me, it's hard basically to go and do that. Like I know I do put out gameplay videos. Don't get me wrong. But I try to have like a theme, like like something like that, saying, "Hey, check this out because this is a good drop caller, or this is that. Here's what you can do. Here's a position you can do, or here's a good push. Kind of teach people that that kind of thing. But for me, like personally, it's hard for me to go and watch another video. As far as far as gameplay.
Yeah, I'm the same way. And like I feel bad because I should watch more videos from the community. But there's just a small niche that I can actually bear to watch.
I'm with you on that one. Trust me.
Yeah,
I know.
I skipped so much.
Yeah, Or also there are some videos that are out there, and I will actually put YouTube on like the ×2 speed multiplier to just speed it along.
See, the other person that I really like, I'm sorry, this is again off
Go for
topic. Pen Click Productions.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They do that shit. They are on top of it with the editing.
I don't know them yet. I have to go ahead and check them out.
They deserve way more subscribers than they have. I think they're actually still somewhere around my zone, but yeah, they do good work.
Oh, cool.
I'll also go check those guys out. Actually, go get some ideas and everything too.
They actually did a thing that was really unique that I liked, where what they did was they took a compilation of a shit ton of streamers. They took highlights from, I think it was something like, I don't even know how many they put in there, but it was 30 or over different Twitch streams that are popular on MechWarrior Online. Like, they went through all these people and showed individual highlights, and they showed what the community's made out of without making it boring. And
that's cool.
I thought that should be the first thing that people see on the Steam page, rather than that horrible grating clan voice that's just no one wants to hear that.
I know.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's so cartoony and bad, and that was the first thing I saw, and I went, what decade are these people in?
And essentially you need to get that, you gotta get over that mental hump of this is really cartoony, and realize that beneath it all there actually is a good player base.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like speaking of that, basically, we need to show that there's a player base. Basically, just like we're talking, we always come back to the same thing: is a player base, or the player community is actually really nice and cool and everything. So we need to, I guess, emphasize more onto that. In our video, like, at least for me, I'm gonna go do that like in my videos, and kind of like in the beginning, I'll say, hey, check this out, this good player base. Hopefully, that might get 20, 30 more people coming inside the game that haven't played before, type thing, and have them go check out. Because I know, like, World of Tanks, most toxic stuff I've ever seen. I've actually had a person, because I didn't capture the point, that said he's gonna come to my house, rape my wife, kill my cats in front of me, and slit my throat because I didn't go ahead and take the capture point. And I'm sitting there going,
that's messed up.
"Yo, God, that's the tame stuff, type thing." It's just damn,
Dear Lord.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, not to pause the chat here, but it's about 8:48 Eastern Standard Time. Should we open things to Q&A?
Yeah, definitely, man. That's yeah, cool.
Yep.
All right, cool. So for people who are watching and in chat, we wanted to open this part of the podcast or stream open to you guys. I know there are multiple comments and questions already in there, but if you have anything you want to put out there, put out some questions. We're open to answer anything. But I guess, until then, we probably could just go through the chat ourselves here and see what's out there, see if there's anything we may have missed.
Okay,
Bob, did you
sounds
see
good.
anything?
Let me check my chat real quick. As I'm actually, streaming this, because I couldn't figure out how to go put a freaking picture up there. I'm actually just building a mech right now. So.
Good job.
Okay, hold on a second. Okay.
All right, well,
I'm looking through it, and it's a lot of confirming. There's also Christian is in here, and he agrees that the clan voice acting is garbage.
Oh God, yeah.
But he had a pretty big different experience with the community.
Oh yeah, basically Christian, a really cool guy. I had a couple fights with him, as far as like in game and everything. Really cool guy. I love his channel and everything. Really, he's like a tier 1 type person that I'll ask, say, hey, how do we do this, and he'll tell you exactly how to do it, man.
Yeah, Christian is a very good player, and he gets angry when people are doing the wrong thing, but he's more than willing to explain to people how to do the right thing.
Exactly.
So
let's see.
And I think
but the thing that happened with him, I feel, is that initially when he went after people, the community was actually too sensitive to deal with him. Like, people got like bent real out of shape when he gave them suggestions to get better. And then later on, people started acting like idiots in front of him, and then since the moderators had him in bad standing, they just immediately went for the ban button, which is a little bit ridiculous.
Okay, I have 2 questions here. One's from Epix 00. Do you think PGI should move away from lore to get better gameplay? Yeah, what do you guys think about that?
No.
Move away from lore.
I don't think it really has that much lore, to tell you the truth.
I'd say move away.
Really?
It's a shooter. The source material is a board game. You're going to have to change it up. It's inevitable that... I mean, I feel that they should keep the lore in the background and say this is where this originated from, and like keep taking mechs from the lore. But I don't believe that they should use the exact same numbers and statistics, because there's so much more of a human element to a shooter than the board game.
Well, that's more of the technical aspects, like as lore, as in like, you know, Davion, Kurita, and like, you know, and stuff like that. This mech was made by Davion, this mech was made by this type thing, or like whatever. Basically, like I think that's what he meant. Basically, as far as like move away from lore to have better gameplay. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, and also Bob, it's going to kill you, but I kind of have to agree with
a
little bit. Yeah, because it's you know it's one of those things where you see on the forums and such that, you know, it's really hard to integrate board game material into what is essentially a first-person shooter game. So, I mean, now if they were to keep like the timeline, they can keep the timeline. That's cool. You know,
that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, but I think if they're questioning, you know, like other lore-based elements that are like, you know, like they work solely in the board game rules, that's a little bit more difficult to bring in. Like, for example, the actual builds that you get when you buy the mechs.
Yeah, like Case on a freaking Air Sphere thing. Yeah, that's crappy.
Yeah, and mainly you've done a few lore builds, and you can attest to how shitty they are sometimes.
It's hard, man. It's really hard.
Yeah, it's real hard. So in terms of staying lore, you can stay lore to a point, be it timeline or kind of like how you said, like, you know, this mech was built by so-and-so faction. You know,
that would be really, really cool if they had, for people who wanted to read, if they had a handbook, just a little thing like that you could go into, another tab that just has lore pages on mechs. So if someone like really, really likes the Atlas or something like that, they can go back and find out the origins of it, and they could even go outside the lore and say this is when the Atlas was first produced in real life. Like this is when it came into the franchise. Because that would let people like get a little bit closer to their mechs and know a lot more about them.
Yeah, and not only that, do you want to know how easy that is? Copy
real
paste from
easy.
Sarna.
Yeah. See,
like
that's
bam.
Okay, I'm not saying basically as far as like they should put all the resources towards lore. You know, basically, like, you know, for me, like, I'm a lore freak. I love BattleTech as far as lore like itself, and I'm not saying, you know, like develop all resources towards only do lore things. You know, what I'm saying though is at least, like, you know, Lemming said, hey, let's put the, you know, it was made by Atlas like Industries and, you know, on planet blah blah blah, and that's, I mean, literally you can just copy and paste Sarna and go pop it in.
Yeah, and the thing is, they've done small things like that whenever they go ahead and they release new mechs. Like, for example, the Roughneck. They put a little backstory to the Roughneck.
Exactly.
You know, and that was kind of cool, but then they don't incorporate that in the game, which is kind of sad.
Yeah, true.
See, I've got Pikasaur 2.0. She suggested, what about releasing the current state of MWO as a new game mode and rolling back the previous version before the skill tree change, you know, for people like me that learned how to play that and don't really feel like taking another year and a half to learn to play the new skill tree.
I don't think they have the resources to do that, though. Like, they're a small company. You know, that's, you know, basically it takes them, like, they haven't developed a new map. You know, a lot of people are asking for underwater maps. A lot of people are asking for a freaking city map. And I don't think they actually have the resources or server space. Like, as you saw the last event, we were bouncing around like crazy because, I don't know if you saw, like, you know, Opstar, but like we were bouncing around like crazy, you know, rubber banding, our shots were missing. I mean, literally, I was jumping like 40 feet, you know, like in front of me. I couldn't even like do anything. I don't think they really have the resources to go ahead and rollback, like a specific thing for before the skill tree, and I don't think it's in their best interest to do as well too.
I think they do have the resource, and only because all of our money that we've been putting into MechWarrior Online has been going into the new MechWarrior game that they're releasing. What is it, 5?
Yeah, 5.
I do believe that they have the resources, but then again, you have to consider the player base as well. Are there going to be enough people to populate both a regular mode and then, say, a skill tree disabled mode?
You're going to have that player base if they take the steps to advertise properly. One of the biggest things that I seen coming into the game years ago, back in CW Beta 1, is I didn't know about it. It took somebody coming into my stream to be like, yeah, I'm playing MechWarrior Online, and I'm like, wait, MechWarrior, what is that? Like, I played BattleTech, the original 1988 release, BattleTech Crescent Hawk's Inception on DOS.
Oh yeah,
and MechWarrior 1, MechWarrior 2, I played those. Not so much, Living Legends, but I played the MechWarriors, and I'm like, oh, I didn't know anything about this. When did this come out? And he's like, oh, it's been out in open beta for a year now. And I'm like, I didn't know. So if they spend some of that money that us as players are putting into that game for advertisements, not just, oh, we're going to just release it on Steam, and that's the extent of their advertisement, they would have that player base to populate both types of servers, and it would bring an influx of new players in.
It all comes back to the fact that they're not advertising properly. Straight from the beginning.
Their PR is horrible.
It is.
Yeah.
they have as it stands right now, they have a really piss poor business model. It's really piss poor. They push the mechs that they buff, and as they nerf them mechs, they push out another set of mechs, and those are OP as shit until they nerf those when the next mechs are ready to be released. And this has been an ongoing cycle that I've seen since, like I said, CW Beta 1, which is when I started playing.
Oh, and they don't hide it either. It's always the patch where that mech comes out for C-bills that it gets nerfed.
Exactly.
It's really, really upfront and obvious. Like, it happened to the Kodiak. It happened.
It's predictable at this point.
Well, plus also too, they're actually going towards more of the online, what's it called, comp play basically, and they're trying to push that like crazy with the comp play. Then also with what they did last year, like MechCon, and a lot of the resources are going towards that with how they do things, and all their programmers and everything else is focusing on that, and then also, like you said, MechWarrior 5, and then also whatever other game they have, or I think they have 4 or 5 games, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the competitive scene worries me because that's a completely horrible angle to take. Like, there's a shit ton of money in Alienware advertising and shit like that at like a Dota 2 tournament or a League of Legends tournament, something like that, because you have competitive players that are playing at extreme speeds, and those are things that people go out to watch because they're that good. Like, if you see the Korean players play StarCraft, holy fuck.
Oh, it's frightening.
But MechWarrior Online, the thing that worries me is that it's not that type of community. The more they angle it towards competitiveness, the more they alienate the people who come in just for a fun sandbox builder experience.
Yeah, in which, that was actually one of my main complaints. This is kind of going off topic now, is that when they put in the skill tree, they were almost taking away that sandbox type of element because you had to pay money to even respec your mech.
Yeah, I wanted to go with trial and error. That's the best way to learn a new thing is trial and error. But you can't do trial and error when it costs you money to change it.
That pisses me off
and that made me so mad. But anyway, I think we got time for another question.
Yeah, sure. Surely.
Because I have this guy here, and man, he's been posting a lot. This is S-Guy. I'm probably butchering that name up horribly. Anyway, he what was it? Essentially, his question was, for newer players, how can PGI make a better distinction between IS and clan mechs? Because I guess when the newer players go in, they don't know what's clan and they don't know what's IS.
Oh yeah, they don't.
God, and I see so many people make the mistake of like, you know, they'll get their like 20 million and can buy like one mech, you know, especially like even before, you know, like where you got to buy 3 mechs to go ahead and skill them up and everything. They'll buy the one mech. It's like, that's it. That's all they have now, you know, and then then you get to the skill tree. It's like, oh wow, there's so much stuff to do. And they need some type of like information saying, hey, you know, the clan mechs are a lot more expensive and they're a lot hard. Well, they're easy to play, I guess, but a lot more involvement in the clan tech than is the Inner Sphere.
And what the hell is an Omnipod?
The deal with like clan versus Inner Sphere in terms of money is that if you buy an Inner Sphere mech, it's going to be cheap up front and expensive later. You buy an Omni mech, it's going to be expensive up front and cheap later in the other way. So I feel like, honestly, as a free-to-play player, the easiest way to do it would just be to add 2 bars in the store that say Clan and Inner Sphere, and they just sort the mechs that way. Like,
I kind of wish they would do that now. Like, I kind of wish I could just do that now, because even just
take about 10 seconds to code, and it would be enough to get people to realize, hey, there's 2 types of mechs here.
Yeah, exactly. You know, because before, whenever I first played, I was like, oh, it's a clan mech because it's like more black looking. And it's like, oh, it's Inner Sphere because the paint looks different.
I saw someone with a blue dot, and I'm like, how do you get that paint job? And I thought it was like I thought clan wasn't a separate technology. I thought it was like an aesthetic thing that you had to buy, like another thing that they monetized. Like, I thought that CER weapons were like premium weapons.
Oh god.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. Like, because none of that. It kind of goes back to our first topic we had a while back. Was there's no good in-game tutorial that explains any of this shit. You know, to the point where I think we could almost say that today's discussion has been PGI put in a better tutorial so players know what the hell to do to keep them in game longer. True,
man, true. Damn. Yeah, that's an issue, like trying to get new players like involved into it. There's so much involved to go ahead and do that, I mean, literally, like, you know, like they have to go watch, you know, 100 YouTube videos, and like, you know, like I know, like I got my series, someone else has hit their series, they got their stuff, and it's like everyone has their own different thing, and so like trying to pick
overlapping material,
yeah,
and then your mind is yeah,
exactly, and they get so overwhelmed because like they think it's like it does have a high learning curve, but not as bad as Eve. Holy shit, Eve was like incredible. But I think that oh god, if and like I'm gonna try to actually fix Mech Potato Time and kind of like do it just for I want to do like 3 to 5 minutes per episode, but I couldn't really get it down to that, and now it's like 25 minutes like each one. There's so much information.
Yeah, see, but that's the thing is that you gotta like try to condense that down.
I know.
You gotta or make chapter bits.
Yeah, true. I don't know. Does anyone else have any questions that we could go ahead and like answer real quick, hopefully, and then pretty much we'll go ahead and end the stream like after that.
Gavlin 17, he's been playing since Alpha, and he says he misses the old 8v8. He thinks that 12 versus 12 is a little too much.
Okay. Yeah, actually, they do have comp play though.
They do, but let's be honest. I mean, how many people that are just getting into the game want to jump right into comp? And how frustrating is it for people that jump into comp, especially if they're lore hounds like myself, and all they play is IS?
Yeah, and then there's comp right now is so underpopulated, and the people you're going to bump into are like EMP, who will just beat you into the ground.
Yeah, I know.
228.
331 Black Widows. Yeah, just everyone just beats you down in the ground. But like we started like a team, and we're just derping it out, basically just having fun.
Team Disney World.
Yeah, exactly. We're doing. But it just have fun. But like you said, like everyone's asking just for a normal 8x8. But I guess you can do it like in private matches. But you need to know a lot of people to go ahead and have that. Go have like in the private matches. Go ahead and run those.
Yeah.
Well, I think that if they're gonna stick with what they originally said, and they're gonna try and stick with lore as much as they're able to, then they should stick with lore as much as they're able to. Like you said earlier, the number game coming from a board game to tabletop to the first person shooter that MechWarrior is doesn't exactly work because of the human element, and I wholeheartedly agree. However, there's other things that they could change to make the game more lore-like that they're just not doing. The weapons, we should have had some of the weapons that are coming out in the Civil War pack. We should have. The Intersphere had, the UX throughout lore.
Yeah.
As well as the light lasers, the heavy lasers. Like, they had all of those weaponry throughout lore. Granted, the clanners, they had, better tech than we did. It is what it is. But we still should have had that weaponry from day one. They could go as far as, if for comp play, for when we're doing the CW, the what is it called, faction warplay now. They could go and make it so that whoever owns the planet has to bid on how many defenders they're leaving. Like in lore, clanners never dropped a full lance. They bid.
Yeah, exactly.
And these are the things that could make the difference, because we all know dirty clanners are OP.
Yeah.
We all know that their tech is OP, their weaponry is OP, and that was in lore. That's absolutely fine for lore. But when you're going 12 versus 12, that never happened in lore. There was never an even matchup of dirty clanners until later on, way later on down the timeline than MechWarrior Online is right now. There was never any... There was no even teams. It was always a less number of dirty clanners versus Intersphere. And that's because they knew that their weaponry was OP. They thought their pilots were, but, real pilots IS, just saying. Shameless plug.
Nice.
Thank you. But, that's one thing. Another thing is take out the ability for mercs to play with the clanners. At this point in the timeline, the clanners did not work with mercs by lore. At this point in the timeline, if you were free birth, you were dead or an indentured servant. You were a slave to them. What they call the bondsman.
Yeah.
There was no merc units working with the IS, or excuse me, with the dirty clanners. It didn't happen.
Well, sorry. So I'm gonna butt in real quick. So I don't think that's gonna happen in PGI, just for this one reason alone, or maybe multiple reasons. But because like myself, I don't know a lot of lore. I know very little BattleTech lore from just reading on Sarna. And it's one of those things where, is that if we add too much to faction warfare, it could work. It really could. But the problem is, though, and I think we've kind of brought it up multiple times, is that PGI is not well versed in explaining how new things work. So to bring in merc units, and that kind of thing, I mean, there's a lot of good lore out there, but like we said, is that we don't know if MechWarrior Online is going to be very lore friendly, because lore is not explained too well in game as it is.
True.
Agreed. They do expect, lore to be known by people. But let's face it, a lot of the people that left are lorehounds, like myself, because of the new patch.
Yeah.
It really, for me, a person that only plays Intersphere mechs, it really was a big turnoff for me. When they did this, and I seen, everybody start switching over to the clan tech, even people in my unit, and I run the Crescent Hawks, and the Crescent Hawks by lore were an Intersphere mercenary unit. They never, in any part of that timeline, from the birth of the Crescent Hawks, from when they were reborn to the end of the Crescent Hawks, the death of the Crescent Hawks, they never fought for the clans. And that's the way that I've always ran my unit. And watching members of my own unit turn around and, I'm sick of losing all the time, so I'm going to run clanner tech. I'm going to run the dirty clanners. That is, it bothers me, because I brought a lot of my unit is made up of new players that I brought into the game from, streaming it or from other games that I played. And to see new players even see the same trend that I see, where the clan tech is always so overpowered that it's a one-sided battle, that's sad. And me personally, I'm a lore hound. I'm not going to go back on what I stand for. I'm against dirty clanners. I want them back out of the inner sphere. I will, I fight to push them back out me. We're gonna build a wall around the inner sphere. Make we're gonna make Clan Smokejag pay for it, and we're gonna make the inner sphere great again. That's the dirty clan. But
all right, we're not gonna go down that hole.
All right.
The thing is that, okay, I'm gonna play
still,
devil's advocate here, though. I actually don't think that clan is that overpowered.
And I will tell you what I've told countless people that I've ever played with, whether it's this point now where MechWarrior Online is, or before they did the skill tree change. You can take the best IS light, which was the Locust, and the best Dirty Clanner light, which was the Arctic Cheetah. Take out the pilot, right? Because it all comes down to the pilot variable on how well a mech works. Take out the pilot, place them right in front of each other, do a countdown, 6 medium pulse for 6 medium pulse.
That's a 10-ton difference, though,
repeatedly. Still. But those are the two best lights for each time.
See, I'd go Firestarter versus Arctic Cheetah, or Wolfhound versus Arctic Cheetah.
I don't know if
Firestarter
can
can either way
that
you want to.
Look at the Wolfhound right now that has almost 70 points of CT armor.
With the skill tree and everything, it just adds.
Okay, I haven't played the Wolf. In my defense, I haven't played the Wolf.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah, I played
the thing is a mini wall of armor. I would take an Arctic Cheetah in the Wolfhound, in my opinion.
So, I'll take my Irby versus the Arctic Cheetah.
Oh, the Urban Mech is not mini Atlas.
But even still, if you place them, if you take the pilot out, put them face to face, same loadout, the dirty clanners are going to win 9 times out of 10.
Well, I think that means we got to do some rules of engagement matches here and see how it fares.
That might be a good idea.
Yeah.
But them rule of engagement matches are only going to work for so long. Like, can you run the rules of engagement match 24/7? I mean, I don't think anybody can honestly do that.
No, it'd be like a scheduled event, not like a whole thing from PGI.
Understand, but here's the thing. Like, I uninstalled MechWarrior, and I'm not reinstalling it until the Civil War patch.
Yeah.
Because I want to see what they do and what they do to fix this issue after the Civil War patch comes out.
Mm-hmm.
So for somebody like me, and for many others that's left the game, said, screw it, we're done, uninstalling this game, I'm just done with the route PGI's going. How do we bring those back? Because the people that just stepped away for a little while, yes, this event might work, but for myself, yes, that does sound like a ton of fun, and I miss MechWarrior like crazy.
Yeah.
However, it's not worth me taking the time to reinstall this game just for a scheduled event.
Well, that's elephant.
Event.
That's elephant in the room now. Basically, how do we get old players coming back and then also new ones? And that's the whole point about what we're talking about today. Is I think personally excitement in the game itself to come back and come back. A lot of people won't. Don't get me wrong, but bringing excitement through lore videos, through advertisement videos that we can make up as YouTubers and Twitch streamers. Like, I'm going to start Twitch streaming. I'm going to start actually doing YouTube streams as well too. And then also this is fun. I like this. Like doing this kind of stuff and. Bringing engagement into the game itself, and I think that might bring some people in. It might not. It just all depends.
I don't know. For me, the excitement's not enough. For me to have to relearn to play a game that took me 2-3 years to learn to play in the first place, it's not, to me personally, and I know that there's probably a bunch of other people that feel the same way. It's not worth the time that I've already got into the game to relearn to play the same game.
See, I don't feel like it's relearning.
Yeah.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate. I feel like you're still taking torso twisting and all of your mech piloting skills that you've learned over those 3 years, and you're applying them to a new system. Like, it's not they didn't just drop on you an entirely new game. They dropped on you a new mechanic to get used to.
But see, that new mechanic is in essence in damn near an entirely new game, in the sense that it took me 3 years to learn to play the mechs that I have.
Okay.
You know, I started off with the learn boats. Yes, I know there's a lot of people out there that's like, oh my god, he's a dirty lermer. Shut the fuck up. If you learn to play a learn boat right, you're a good lermer.
I fear a learn boat and a narker that actually know what they're doing. I fear that more than energy boats.
I've done 1,200 damage in a learn boat just playing solo, and still was up there with the front line, not playing, 900 meters back. But that's the way that I started. And I gradually, over time, learned to play my mediums, my lights, and then moved to heavies when I got a computer that got over 9 frames, that I could actually run a heavy. So, I mean, like, for me, now I've got to not only relearn the mech, I've got to relearn the skill tree. I've also got to relearn. I gotta learn a whole new play style because of, there's no more the quirks, the original quirks. A lot of them are gone. The skill tree is completely different. So I've got to relearn to play the same mechs that I've been playing the same way for years, and I shouldn't have to. Okay. And I really don't want to put that time into it.
You can orient those same builds towards what you used to have. Everything on the skill tree, you can attain exactly what you had before.
No.
Ops.
I beg to differ.
Ops, during the stream, I built a spider, the one to your specs, basically, according to the your PPC just now. And it literally took me, that's with doing multiple things at the same time, and I literally built it in less than about 10 minutes. With all the different skill tree and everything else. Like I always say, in my videos, take time to learn it. It literally, the first three times I messed around with the skill tree, I was like, oh my god, what do I got to do? But after that, it started actually just clicking in place, and it basically, it doesn't take much to learn it. It's just sitting down and actually going, okay, here's how I do this, and kind of do that kind of thing, and it. Just now I just built a spider that'll probably use tonight.
Yeah, and then also on my end, because I've been kind of quiet the whole time here, is that I would say that that just to say you're not going to come back because of a rule change, in a sense it's like, yeah, sure, things have changed, but does that stop me from purchasing other games because I need to sit down and learn how to play a game? If to me personally, if it's a game that I really enjoy and I want to put a lot of passion into it, like for example, MechWarrior, I will take time for that hour of time to relearn the new mechanic and then make it work.
But okay, so I before I make my statement,
okay,
how long since the major patch have you guys put into learning this new skill tree?
Like I said, it's like
not often, not a lot.
Yeah, but it's not a lot. It took me about 3 mechs to go ahead and figure out what I'm doing.
Once you learn the skill tree, go ahead.
So it took me. What I did was I went in, and what I did was I tried making a mech exactly the same as before. I went in with a Kintaro SRM boat. And that's
a mech to go ahead and learn, definitely.
So, yeah, since I had been playing that was my first medium I ever got, and I wanted to see how it changed. And I felt like it was exactly the same, but now it was more agile. And then I went in and I went to a direwolf, and I saw what would happen if I didn't do any defensive quirks, all offensive, and just brutality. And then I played a match in that, and I saw, oh shit, it works, and it's scary. And then I made a video about that. But then, after that, it was really easy to just... I'd say 2 hours. 2 hours is what it took for me to completely understand what I want to do with all of my mechs. It took me about an hour or so to look through the entire skill tree and do trial and error with old builds, and then see, okay, right side of the mobility tree has more anchor turn, left side has more torso movement.
Yeah.
Simple stuff like that. And I had no idea. The one thing that pissed me off was I had no idea that ECM got changed.
Nerfed.
Yeah, and so I was like, why are people targeting me at like 700 meters? No clue. That actually took me well into like the second week of skill tree to finally realize I need enhanced ECM. But that was it. Just 2 hours for basic, and then about a week of playing on and off to understand complete advanced mechanics.
Yeah, and I would say probably once you go through the actual skill tree and you find your play set within the skill tree. So, like for me, like I have a few mechs that are high on defense. So in my mind already, I already have a certain path in the tree that I go to just automatically. So, basically once you learn about, I want to be defensive, and you learn how to be defensive, then you go to your defensive mechs, and you can just, not like completely copy and paste, but you can almost do it.
Well, it's just like the Roughneck, basically. I was I don't like the lore for the Roughneck, and as you noticed, like everyone did, but the mech itself is just a beast. I mean, like Larsh was a perfect example. Like one game, he charged the whole unit and survived. Charged 12 mechs and survived. The thing is just a freaking beast if you put into the survival tree, and it's all based on like what you see the first quirks are and kind of build from there. Like at least that's how I do it. Like if I notice the first thing I do is I go into the testing grounds to see like how my torso twisting, like is that, should I get more or should I get less, and then I go buy a node and then go ahead and test it and buy another node, test it, like do that kind of thing. How fast am I stopping and going? Okay, is that what I want to do? And that's how I kind of build my tree based off new mechs that I go ahead and play. I don't know, just an idea, but like I definitely hope that helps you, basically like on coming back, and you're more welcome, like I'll more welcome to go ahead and sit down with you. Ops.
Did we lose that man?
I think we lost him, yeah.
I know, Ops. Oh no, did we lose him?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
There we go. Now we can.
All right. Sorry, I'm having some audio issues here. All right. So for me, I played the game for, I don't know, 2 days after this thing. And first mech that I tried the redo was my Jaeger A, which is my learn boat, 4 LRM5s, 2 AC2s. Okay. For anybody that's ever watched my stream, that's probably one of my favorite and most fun mechs to play.
I've seen that one, yeah.
I've got, before the patch, I had like well over 1 million experience in that, and it was fully up, it was fully perked out. It was deleted. So like that's the first mech I went to play, and the first thing I noticed is no matter what I did, I couldn't get the lerms back out to 1,000 meters, let alone 1,100, which is what I had it at. And no matter what I did, it was still really squishy. We all know that the Jaegers have the horrible torso hitboxes they always have for whatever reason. And there was no survivability in that. Even when I went all armor, I went all armor, all structure, and there was just no survivability anymore in that. So I'm like, okay, maybe it's not great for those anymore. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to go to my Locust, because that's my second go-to mech. I love my Locust, especially my Pirate Bane. And so I build my Pirate's Bane, and no matter what I do, I'm so squishy that there's just no survivability. There's no more knife fighting. There is no, running through the middle of even a lance and making it out partially alive. It's 1-2 hits with all structure quirks, and you're dead. So I'm like, okay, whatever. My assassins, I got a 2 ER large assassin that I loved. Full jump jets, just get somewhere, jump, zoom in, focus the target, whatever. Usually got about 300 damage or so. Wasn't exactly the best, but it works for my playstyle, and I had a lot of fun with it. But even that, with ECM, just still no survivability. None at all. And this is a repeated thing that I've noticed through the 2 days that I tried it. And after 2 days of just getting wrecked, completely wrecked. I uninstalled.
Sorry,
go ahead.
Most of those mechs you said were squishy in the past as well. Like, so you didn't notice. Your issue is that you didn't notice any change, or that you felt they got even squishier.
Worse.
It got worse.
My Locust, the Pirate's Bane, I ran four small pulses and a machine gun. And the only place that I ever stripped armor on it was its arms, because it really doesn't need those.
Yeah.
With the structure quirk set it originally came with, I could literally run to the back of the pack, and I used to call it one of my butt touchers, because I would flank the whole team and come around from behind, run up, pew, 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 and run away. Take some hits, but I'd still be alive. Now, I run up, I pew, pew, and I'm dead. There's no running away.
Well, the thing is that I'm looking at the changes that occurred on the skill tree right now, and there was no loss to any of the defensive quirks that the Locust had.
No, you can add more.
It lost acceleration, deceleration, and a few heat gen quirks, but it actually still has all of the same armor that it had pre-skill tree. So
it had structure quirks pre-skill tree that are no longer there, because they're now in the skill tree.
Yeah.
Which variant?
The Pirate's Bane.
The Pirate's Bane. Okay. Pirate's Bane did not have structure quirks. It has armor bonus left leg and armor bonus right leg, according to the spreadsheet.
Actually, that's nice. Little force mold.
It did. What it did lose, it lost 10% energy cooldown, 10% energy range, and it lost its 60% acceleration and deceleration. And it actually lost 50% turn rate. All right, 50% turn rate is kind of fucked, but
yeah,
in terms of defensive, there was no change.
Yeah.
I know myself. I mean, a good Locust pilot. I mean, literally, I've seen these guys run through a bunch of assault mechs, literally like 12 mechs, and it takes like a minute or two to kill this thing, and literally he does a lot of damage. It drops airstrikes and everything else, and I don't know, like like every time I play it, I guess I suck at it or something. I don't know myself, but I see some guys, man, it's just like, holy shit, what the hell are you doing?
A few of them go through a whole lot, but hey, anyway, guys, I don't want to like cut short or anything like that, but it is like we've been going on for about an hour and a half now.
Oh my god, yeah, true. It's
I'm
supposed
just
to be an hour.
Out there, yeah, it was going to be an hour and like a good 20-minute Q&A, and then we went on to a huge other tangent for skill tree stuff, which is good,
Yeah.
But damn, yeah, but we're at like an hour and a half, so I don't know if people have any more questions, but we might want to wrap things up soon.
Oh, okay, check it out. Like, here we go. Okay, under my link, I have excuse me. Sorry, I'm tired. Opstoner's Twitch stream. I have Commander Lemming's YouTube channel, and also Lars's YouTube channel. Do check him out, guys, if you guys can. Everyone does a great job on their Twitch streams. Everyone does a really good job on everything else that they do the videos for. And thank you everybody for coming by. We're gonna go ahead and we're probably gonna do this like once a month, and kind of get other YouTubers and Twitch and Twitch streamers like in here, and just kind of do the concerns of the community, kind of like the concerns of what can we do, what can we help out, what can we do, that kind of stuff. And that's the whole point about what we're gonna do for this type of for the community forums that we're having now. And I also want to get you involved, everyone that's watching as well, get you involved. What can you do as well to go ahead and help out the community and positive stuff? And then also we'll probably have some bitch sessions too. Just all depends. But the whole thing. Check out everyone's channels if you guys can. Okay, I said my piece, Larch.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty good too. Everyone, thanks for watching. For those of you who stayed after the time limit that we had, I highly encourage you, kind of like how Bob said, go ahead and check out all of our channels. We all have something to offer online. And yeah, that's pretty much my spiel. So,
Lemmy?
Hey, if you guys,
sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, if you guys could post your links to your channels in the Discord chat for me, so I'd post them in my in my Twitch stream.
Okay.
I would appreciate it.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah, sure.
Enough.
And like Lemmy?
What I was going to say is that I actually have been slowly building building a thing that shows all 4 chats up. At least that's how many there are, correct? There's 1 for Bob, 2 for Larsh, and then the Twitch stream chat for Opstoner, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, as we were talking, I finally set up a full screen that has all 4 of them displayed at once.
Oh.
And so I'm going to try and edit and make a synopsis of this.
That'd be great.
That'd be cool, actually.
That would be interesting because you probably have more time than I have, so go for it, man.
I want to thank everyone for watching, and thank you for being a great community of players out there. And, you know, if you have any questions, leave it on everyone's YouTube links, or go watch like Opstoner's Twitch stream and kind of like engage there too as well. Opstoner, awesome guy. I've known this guy for a long time, and you know, I have to say, man, like me and you talked a lot, and I have to say you're upstanding guy. Larsh, the same thing. You know, me and you talk like crazy. And we send, you know, like we send texts like on our phones, and we, you know, giggle and all that kind of stuff, just like little schoolgirls. But and then Commander and the Commander Lemmy, you know, basically, I don't know you as much, but for what I know, you're awesome. Basically, you're a really cool guy, and talking to you like all the time, you dropping with us, you know, doing the drops and everything, great too. And I do appreciate it. I do appreciate you coming. I appreciate everyone coming, and let's do this again. Let's get other people like involved. If you know people, let's get involved for another one, and then it builds from there. Because everything starts like a rock in a pond with a small ripple, and then it expands from there.
We're getting deep.
Yeah, and I'd be looking forward to doing this monthly, so that we can actually get on like more topics and try and like make this a regular thing, so that more people are here and more ready with questions.
Oh, you know, monthly, bi-weekly, whatever you guys want, I'm game for it. You know, it doesn't really take much, because it's like it's what we kind of know and do like already, and you know, an hour and a half of a time, I'm willing to give that, you know, type thing.
Yeah, I'm game.
I'm more than willing, and I definitely look forward to meeting with you gentlemen again and discussing this further, because I really do miss that game. Like, I've quit that game so many times just off the, you know, the colorblind issue, and I still come back because that's the best mech game out there, in my opinion.
we have time to change your mind yet.
Yeah.
Well, we will see, and like I said, I look forward to definitely, you know, working with you gentlemen, and maybe I'll get back into streaming it. I don't know. I never once said that, you know, there was no chance of me ever coming back to MechWarrior. Mm-hmm. People have asked, and you know, it's kind of I don't know right now. Right now, at this point, it's just not worth it to me, period. Mm-hmm. But that's my opinion. You know, that's not the opinion of on a whole. That's just my opinion. But I would love that at some point come back to the game and have as much fun with everybody as I did before.
Oh, so, definitely.
Absolutely.
Well, hell, if we get one person like you, Opstoner, come back, our job is you know, halfway there pretty much. Okay, I'll see you over later, and thank you for coming by, you know, my friends. Thank you, and we'll check you guys later on other streams, and like everything else, we'll try to keep up to date. Check out everyone's Twitter streams. Also, very important. This is where you get to know what happens with everybody, like Opstoner, Larsh, Commander Lemmy. Check out their Twitter pages as well. See you guys later, and thank you, and I'll see you.